In today's video, we're gonna go over the 5 very best Dragon Ball movies ever released, according to you. What's up everybody, your friendly neighborhood Tony here, and before we get started with today's ranking, I already know what you're thinking. How could I possibly know what your favorite movies are? And you're right. Since you refuse to return my phone calls, I had to go with the next best option. I scoured the internet, pulling thousands of reviews from fans and critics the world over, and used my super special data analyst powers to basically just sort them by average score. So I guess that part wasn't so hard. Either way, if you're one of my fellow weebs and you're looking for some movie recommendations, I got you. If that all sounds good, I'd love it if you'd consider subscribing or at least just click that little like button. It really does make a massive difference. All right, without further ado, let's get started with number 5. And that movie is Dragon Ball Z: Battle of Gods. Battle of Gods, or Kami to Kami, is the 18th feature film based on the Dragon Ball franchise and came out in March of 2013. Wow, 2013? I feel like this movie just came out. God, I'm old. Anyway, fun fact, Battle of Gods is the first Dragon Ball movie to be considered part of the official storyline, taking place during the time skip in chapter 517 of the manga. In Battle of Gods, Beerus, the god of destruction, learns about Goku's defeat of Frieza on Namek. Discovering that Goku is a Saiyan, Beerus recalls a dream/premonition he had about a Super Saiyan god. And, of course, being that he is the god of destruction and is always looking for a good fight, Beerus travels to Earth along with his buddy Whis to challenge Goku to combat. I love trying to explain Dragon Ball plots. Look, no one said it was Citizen Kane, alright? It's screamy, punchy, and I like it. Don't judge me. Battle of Gods was also the first Dragon Ball animated anything to be released in like 17 years. And after the letdown that was GT, it had a lot of making up to do. And honestly, it did just that. Battle of Gods opened up at number 1 at the Japanese box office and would go on to gross over $50 million. $50
million? And who you think you kidnapped, Chelsea Clinton?
Battle of Gods did receive mostly positive reviews, but not without some criticism. Although the movie was overall a good time and had some killer fight scenes, it leaned heavily into the comedic aspects of the series without much of the weight and the stakes that we've come to appreciate. In addition to that, there were some questionable uses of CG and a few scenes with less than stellar animation. All in all, I do really like Battle of Gods, and it has a special place in my heart for revitalizing a beloved franchise. But there are a number of Dragon Ball movies I would definitely rank above it. Speaking of which, coming in at number 4 on our list is an absolute throwback, a legendary movie about a legendary Super Saiyan. That's right, from way back in the before time of 1993, which is also the same year Power Rangers debuted. Just throwing that out there. It's Dragon Ball Z Broly, the legendary Super Saiyan. Bruh, this movie is so fire. It's so good, they made 3 sequels to it, or I guess 2 sequels and a reboot. Once again, this movie came out in 1993, right smack dab in the middle of a wild run of Dragon Ball movies. At this time, they had at least 1, sometimes 2 movies coming out every year for about a decade. This was Dragon Ball at its peak. In Dragon Ball Z Broly, the legendary Super Saiyan, King Kai senses the destruction of the South Galaxy by what seems to be another Super Saiyan. He sends Goku to investigate. All the while, a spaceship full of alien soldiers lands on Earth, greeting Vegeta as their king. They tell Vegeta of their plans to rebuild planet Vegeta and the Saiyan race, and bring him to the planet they now call home. There, Goku, Vegeta, and the rest of the Z Warriors search for the fabled legendary Super Saiyan, who has been wreaking havoc on nearby planets. If you're gonna watch just one Dragon Ball Z movie, this might be the one I recommend. It just has everything that made Dragon Ball such a hit. I don't know if I say it's my favorite Dragon Ball movie, but that's just so hard to nail down with as much nostalgia as I have for some of these movies. Also, I should say the streaming licenses for these movies are really hard to track down, so I don't know if they're on a particular platform right now, but most of them are on Blu-ray, so I'll do my best to find links to all the Blu-ray releases for each of these movies I mentioned here, and I will put them in the description below. These will be affiliate links, which basically means Amazon gives me a little kickback if you use them, but it doesn't cost you anything extra. So if you're looking for an easy, surefire way to support the channel, feel free to use the links in the description. Coming in at number 3 is the last Dragon Ball Z movie to come out in the 90s before that giant 17-year gap, and that is Dragon Ball Z Wrath of the Dragon. Wrath of the Dragon came out in 1995 and is the 13th Dragon Ball Z feature film. Taking place after the final battle with Kid Buu, Wrath of the Dragon focuses on an evil magician named Hoi who tricks the Z fighters into opening a magic box which holds a warrior named Tapion as well as a massive kaiju-like monster called Hildegarn who threatens to destroy the world. Now, although the plot for this movie might seem a little basic, you know, the Z fighters fight a giant monster, the end. It's actually a lot more involved and interesting than just that. Of course, the fight scenes are awesome, and you get to see Goku bust out some cool new moves and go Super Saiyan 3, which is cool in and of itself. But what I really love about this movie is what it does with Trunks. I guess I'll try not to spoil it in case you haven't seen it, but I'll just say Trunks and Tapion have a special connection that Trunks carries with him going forward far into the future. So, although I suppose it's not technically canon, it's nice to see some light being shined on one of my favorite characters and getting a little alternative backstory to him. All right, we're almost done. Coming in at number 2 is a somewhat ridiculous yet still awesome movie in Dragon Ball Z Fusion Reborn. Fusion Reborn is officially the 12th Dragon Ball Z film being released in 1995. Following a janitorial mishap in Otherworld, a demon named Janemba is released. The universe is then thrown into chaos as the dead come back to life. In an attempt to stop Janemba and return the universe to order, Goku and Vegeta are left with no choice but to fuse. Fusion Reborn is many people's favorite Dragon Ball Z movie, and I can totally see why. It's chock full of all the over-the-top action we've come to know and love from the franchise, while also managing to keep things light and fun the whole way through. It is somewhat reminiscent of the Buu saga, particularly with the main villain, but I won't hold that against it. It also does some really interesting things with the art and animation. I've heard people both praise and complain about those bits, so again, I won't judge it on that since it's really just a matter of taste. All in all, Fusion Reborn has a little bit of everything that I love about modern Dragon Ball, and I highly recommend it. Okay, before we get to the very best Dragon Ball movie of all time, if you've enjoyed this video, do me a solid and hit that little like button. It actually makes a massive difference. And if you want to see more videos like this, consider subscribing. All right, coming in at number 1 is... Oh, okay, wait. Why don't you guess? Go ahead. Think about it for a second. You got it? Okay. I'll tell you, it is 2018's Dragon Ball Super Broly. Now be honest, is anyone surprised? In Dragon Ball Super Broly, not to be confused with Dragon Ball Z Broly, the legendary Super Saiyan, although the stories are fairly similar, but in this version, we flash back to planet Vegeta, where King Vegeta notices a baby Saiyan, Broly, whose power exceeds that of his son, baby Vegeta, I guess. King Vegeta then sends baby Broly and his father Paragus to a desolate planet. Years later, Goku is training with the former baby Vegeta, now just regular Vegeta, when Frieza arrives with Broly and his pops in tow. From there, we are treated to one of the most badass battles ever put on screen in anything Dragon Ball ever. Dragon Ball Super Broly also holds the record for being the highest grossing Dragon Ball movie of all time, making $122 million at the worldwide box office, which is absolutely insane for an anime, and really just for any movie in general. And it was nominated for a couple smaller awards, the Japan Academy Prize and the Google Play User's Choice Award. All in all, this movie is fantastic, and by many accounts, is the greatest Dragon Ball movie of all time. Well, that's it, my dude. I hope you found some cool movies to check out with this video. If you have any recommendations for lists that you would like me to put together, definitely let me know in the comments below. I also have an entire playlist of all my ranking videos ready for you to check out. You can click right into here to jump into that. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one. All right, be good.